This is Charky. December the 29th, and usually we got the wood stove going this time of year in the shop, but it was like 72 degrees today. I got the windows open in front of the workbench to make it a little cooler in here. Odd weather for this time of year. What I was going to do in this little video, I was going to show you all some of this walnut that we picked up from the kiln a few weeks ago. I'm going to put it on the workbench and take my scrub plane and go over it a few times and see what kind of grain and what kind of figure we got in this walnut. This whole stack here is walnut, and I got a little bit of poplar in the back. I just got this back from the kiln a few weeks ago. As you can see by taking the first look at this walnut and the poplar behind it, it looks pretty rough. It does not look like very high quality lumber. The average person will walk by and see this wood right here and they'd probably keep going and think it was junk. But during the kiln, which is the drying process, you get a lot of staining on the outer part of the wood here. I air dry this walnut right here for just air dried for about a year out here beside the sawmill. And then I took it to the kiln once I was at a moisture rate that I was pretty comfortable with, that I thought that I could dry it down without getting a lot of stress out of the wood. But this is typical for wood that comes out of the kiln. It's not pretty, it's ugly, it's got stains. Pretty much looks like crap. But we're going to throw it on the workbench and I'll show you how it looks after you take a hand plane to it and knock off all those drying stains. Now this slab that we're going to put on the workbench is about, if I remember correctly, it's about 8 feet in length. The width varies. This is a live edge piece of walnut here. I sawed it straight through the log. I didn't turn it at all. Just started at the very top of the log and sawed it straight down. Now we're going to do some videos here pretty soon showing our wood miser and how we do a lot of our different sawing techniques. As soon as it's weathered, it gets a little bit better outside. It's pouring the rain out there for the past few days. The width varies. I said 18 inches, looks like 16 down there. And the thickness is right around 1.5 inches, so we're about 6/4 here. I think I sawed this 1 3/4 inches, because when you do your air drying or your kiln drying, you'll lose some thickness and also some width on it, because the wood fibers will dry up as it dries. But anyways, we're going to throw this thing on the workbench and see what happens. The only real noticeable defect is a check on this end. I'll bring the camera in so you can see that a little bit better. Now this crack right here at the end of this slab, it's not good, but it's not that terrible either. It goes in about 28 inches. Now I remember sawing this log. I harvest most of my trees myself that I run through the sawmill, so I got hands-on during the whole process. Now this shows you that anchor seal doesn't work every single time you put it on the end of these logs to prevent in-checking. This was a nice walnut tree. This was the butt cut from that tree, and I anchor sealed the whiz out of it. I put several coats on and I anchor sealed it again after I sawed it. But even with all that happening to it and all those applications of anchor seal being put on it, it still checked on me right there. Now that happened when it was air dried. When I took it to the kiln, that's when I noticed that. When I took it off the stickers, I saw that check right there. It just shows you that, you know, anchor seal is a great product, but some things you can't avoid. They're just going to occur. Alright, I got the slab up on the workbench. This slab really dwarfs my workbench. This little workbench is like 5 feet long, weighs maybe 50 pounds. It was a cheapo Harbor Freight workbench I got a few years ago when I first started doing hand tool woodworking. I need to really upgrade to a proper bench. That's one planing method I picked up from Paul Sellers. I've watched almost all his YouTube videos and read his book. And he calls that throwing the plane. You take it back and go toward the work like that and kind of throw it. Well, I got about half over done. And I'll do the other half later. I won't make y'all sit there and watch me hand plane a whole slab. Unless you want me to, then leave me a comment below. Next time I'll do the whole entire thing on the video. But anyways, this walnut has turned out real nice. The color, it's a real dark. Not a lot of sapwood at all. Maybe an inch of sapwood on both sides. I got some water here. What I like to do after I hand plane it, or I use a scrub plane, I like to throw a little water on it just to see what the grain looks like and how it's going to potentially look whenever I put finish on it. If I do make a piece of furniture out of it. Grab our old water, and it doesn't hurt the wood. You're not saturating the grain. You're not going to soak it in water all night. So this is not changing the moisture content whatsoever in this wood here. Not going to hurt nothing. So just put a little water on there. Throw my rag on the floor. Rub that on there real good. Get out the light here. More water up there. Well, there's that check that we talked about earlier. Depending on what you use this for, you can leave that check in there and put a little Dutchman or a butterfly in there and use that as a feature of the piece that you're making with this. I'll put a few pictures on here now. I meant to do this earlier and I forgot. This is some walnut here that I went and timber cruised today. It's when you go out and you look for timber. It's called timber cruising. And these walnut trees are on a farm located a few miles from my house, and we acquired them today and made the deal and went ahead and got them. These two walnut logs I'm showing here are walnut trees. The first one there is about 24-inch diameter. The second one was about 48-inch diameter. Without a doubt, the biggest walnut I've ever seen around here. Just a huge tree. There's going to be some nice, very nice slabs that come out of that tree. Just that one tree, there's 2,000 board feet in it. And we'll be doing some videos showing how we're going to cut those monsters down, and probably have to get a Lucas mill to come in because that thing is way too big for my wood miser to cut in slabs. Our next video hopefully is going to be either us running the wood miser or back up at the farm cutting some more timber down. But if the weather stays like it is, I'm probably going to go ahead and start on this next project here. That's a stack of yellow pine right there, and I've been letting that acclimate in the shop here for about 4 months. And that's going to be the top of our proper workbench that we're going to make.